Great.
Alright, I just looked at the weird questions to ask.
Great.
So we can talk about whatever, but then if we need to add time, I'll just ask a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
We can do like would you rather or something.
Yeah, would you rather? Let's talk about anime.
How doom hold heat and preach non-violence. He about to start the speech, come on, silence. On one starry night, I saw the light. Heard a voice that sounded like Barry White, said sure you're right. Don't let me find out who tried to bite. They better off going to fly a kite in a firefight during tornado time with no coat, then I caught ya. Wrote the book on rhymes, a note from the author.
Now, we were talking about what else? Anime. You guys like anime?
Hawaii.
I'm sure you do.
Are you serious right now, bro?
I like anime to an extent, even though I've seen like only 3 in my life. And I'm pretty sure you've seen more.
Probably, I don't know.
Yeah, so I'll begin with saying that I only watched 3 anime. The first one that I watched was back when I was in Turkmenistan. This anime was about these portable racing cars. I don't know if you know about that one. Basically, a group of kids are part of some competition where you have these handheld cars, you know, they're the size of femur, let's say, and you put them down and you control them using controllers. I don't know, that anime just kind of resonates with me. I still can't find it. Like, I typed in anime about RC and nothing just pops up. So maybe they deleted it, maybe something happened to it, but I'll never know for sure until I come back to Turkmenistan and turn on the TV.
You know, there's like fake Turkish anime where they like basically
Yeah.
there's like a bunch of football ones that they made in Turkey, and then they pass up with like actual Japanese anime and stuff, but it wasn't actually.
That could be the case, actually. Yeah. About that, like, thing is, I was in Turkmenistan, a country that isn't really, I don't want to get too political. I mean, I talked about Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, but they don't really allow much Western entertainment going into the country. The country is isolationist, so they tend to separate themselves from the world. And they limit the amount of cartoons and anime and movies that go into the country as well. And so I recall when I would turn on the TV, the same programs, the same episodes, the same type of brands would be repeated. So that's interesting. And I think the channel was state-owned, children's and governmental. So it could be that, right? The 2 other animes that I've seen. So the other one is Howl's Moving Castle, a movie that resonates with me in my childhood. Even though I don't remember at least half of it. I mean, I don't know. The first time I watched the movie was when I was in a class around 9 or 8 years ago. And I remember me and my class watching it, and I remember the feeling it gave me. Warmth, adventure, thrill, something that I look in media nowadays, something that I'm missing out largely.
That movie is pretty political. It's basically like about Japanese perspective of World War II, kind of,
really?
but in like a fantasy setting.
Mm.
Yeah, because there's a scene at the end, or close to the end, where it's basically the fake Japan getting bombed.
Whoa.
And because the guy who makes all the Studio Ghibli movies, I don't know how old he was at the time, but he was either born just after the bombs were dropped, or he lived through it and was a really young child, so he lived through basically the depression stages of Japan. He
Right.
lived into the, like, I guess the technological advancement stages and stuff, which is why he got so popular and stuff.
Right. Yeah, it could be that. Yeah, well, that's what resonates with elders nowadays, some form of political opinion, but still, well, many young audience may not understand that. But us elders, both of us are 18, some of us can already identify some of the messages going within the movies. Howl's Moving Castle, very great movie. I've seen a few clips recently. I didn't watch the movie fully, but I've seen some clips. And I feel like the clips that I've seen 9 years ago seemed like, I don't know, better in quality than it is right now when I'm watching.
What do you mean?
I don't know, like, it felt, how should I say, more magical when I first watched it 9 years ago.
Yeah, nostalgia.
Could be nostalgia, yeah. But I just have to watch the movie fully to quickly encapsulate that. The movie was made by, it was that one man and I believe the Studio Ghibli.
Studio Ghibli.
Ghibli, yeah.
The main guy is Hayao Miyazaki,
Yeah.
and I think he's the founder of Studio Ghibli. Basically, they make all like if anyone thinks of an anime movie, that's basically him. So like Howl's Moving Castle, Kiki's Delivery Service, My Neighbor Totoro, them kind of thing. I know this stuff because I'm and also an animation person.
Well, it's no problem to share your interests with the public. So, some of you may watch anime, some of you don't, but no point in arguing that because I think anime is, well, many movies by anime, especially the one that I'm going to talk about, the last only anime that I watched, that all of them are drawn by talented artists, someone that are unique from the Western art animations, like Disney, all that stuff. It does seem like Studio Ghibli, well, from the clips that I've adjusted, it does a little bit of Disney resonates within some of those clips that I've seen. But like I said, I just have to watch the movies fully to understand that. But anyways, the last anime, as I mentioned, was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I got to season 3 just today, along with Nikolai. Well, Nikolai watched the series, I think.
The bit that you're at, it's not even like halfway.
Well,
Because there's a bunch of stuff. Basically, most anime they translate from manga, and JoJo's is super old. It came in like the early 80s.
gee,
The bit that we're up to now is like the author started making it like maybe the late 80s, I think. So maybe like 89, because I remember them mentioning something about a conflict that was happening around that time. And there's like 5 other parts from after what you're up to, which goes up till today. So yeah,
well,
13.
I have a lot to progress on. But yeah, since I thought those things were made like in early 2000s. But yeah, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I recommend it if you're 18 or at least above 16 because a lot of brutal content, a lot of naughty things going on. I don't know, when I watch movies nowadays, I feel a little bit of boredom, like there isn't any thrill, it's just the same Hollywood stuff going on. I watched Fast and Furious, what is it, 8, 7, with Fedor like 2 years ago. If you don't know Fedor, he's our classmate, but like 2 years ago in the cinema, and oh my gosh, I wanted to fall asleep. And Mulan as well, live action Mulan.
The live action was not good. I hate that.
Oh, dude, I like, I was gonna fall asleep, but like the constant shoving of katanas just kept me awake, and like I was covering my ears the whole time because I was worried my ears were gonna bleed from every 5 to 30 seconds. But JoJo isn't like that. Surprisingly, after the first episode, I was immediately into it, even though it was 20 minutes. It immediately like into the screen, and I have to thank Nikolai for that one because now I found a new interest and continuing my anime adventure in different other animes. So those are the 3 animes you watched. Now you've probably seen a lot more anime than I have.
100%, but I don't remember most of them. Most of the ones that I watch is just because I'm super bored, and because I don't really like most Western adult animation because a lot of them are the same. Like you've got like a 50 billion Family Guys. But for people who like adult animation, but they're tired of seeing the same thing over and over again, like every adult animation in the West is usually a comedy.
Yeah,
So anime is a good way to get out of that, to get different types of genres and stuff
definitely.
for that type of stuff.
施錠をしたとはいえ、こんな古い木の扉なんて簡単に破られるだろうな。